Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Looks like we have a good show out so far with the jurisdictions. This is the BFCOG 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program Open House. The flow of this open house is going to go that jurisdictions are going to present in alphabetical order, and then that should take up the first hour from 3 to 4, and then I will quickly exit the meeting so we can download the recording of the presentation and rejoin. For those that want to stay around and rewatch themselves talk, more than welcome to. But yeah, so just to get started, I think Benton City is not here, but they did provide some slides. So yeah, they have two projects included in the tip for this upcoming update. And one is the Riverfront Park Trail project, and then the other one is pedestrian crossings. I'll let you all read that. Looks like they have TAP funds, total of 230,000. And then for the next one is the pedestrian crossings project, which is a little over 232,000. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat for these, and then we will relay that to Benton City. And then next up will be Benton County. I don't know I don't see Benton County here. Interesting.
Hey, Tanner, I noticed that the link to the Zoom meeting that was sent to the members here wasn't working. I had to go on to the BFCOG website directly and click onto the event and get onto the meeting there.
Interesting.
Others might be having that same problem.
Okay, is it the link that we resent like an hour ago? That didn't work in the email?
Yeah, because Tanner, mine worked fine.
Okay. Yeah, the first link wasn't working, and so I sent an updated meeting invite with the updated link. So hopefully people notice that and will join. We can just, for now, skip Benton County and go back, because I'm pretty sure at least Brian would show up to present on this. So, but we will move forward to BFT. Kevin's in here, I believe.
Yeah, thanks, Tanner. I can get started here. All right, so just briefly going over our planned capital expenses. BFT's capital budget totals in 173 million through 2030. This year, or 2024 and into 2025, we have about 30 million planned. The majority of that is either new facilities, so construction of bus stops, new transit centers, things of that nature. And then the other big chunk is our revenue vehicles. So this typically is the biggest portion of our CIP, our capital improvement program, is the replacement of vehicles that are at or past their useful life. We did complete some substantial capital projects this year, including our new operations building, which totaled about 10 million in construction. And then our Queensgate Transit Center, which we opened last week. We still have the comfort station itself is being finished, but the passenger platform is open. So yeah, this is a look at our capital improvement program, which is included in our transit development plan, which we submitted about a month ago. Next slide, please. So here's our multi-year financial plan. We are looking like we're in all right financial state. We are projecting a pretty conservative increase in sales tax revenue. So we are still planning as if we need to potentially absorb lower sales tax coming in than we've seen historically or the past decade. So this year our budget was 63 million in operating expenses. Right now we're on track to come far below that. So yeah, we're thinking we're going to be upwards of 4 to 5 million below our operating expenses that were budgeted. So next slide, please. So planned operating expenses. So we have made some changes this year when we incorporated our Queensgate Transit Center. We increased frequency on our Route 170 to hourly during peak. So in the past, it was every 2 hours. We also extended that route, which serves Benton City and Prosser. We extended the route itself into some of the commercial areas of Prosser. We now directly serve the high school. A big thanks to City of Prosser and Marty with the city in making that possible and getting accessible stops along the route. We are kind of all holding our breath for the outcome initiative of Initiative 2117. We currently receive about $5.4 million in transit support funding through that initiative. So if it were to pass, we would potentially lose that funding in the future if no other funding source is made available. So the plan for next year is make incremental service increases in Pasco, but also we're identifying low productivity service that we may reduce. And really the plan is to put forth a budget neutral service plan so that we're not adding any more service given the uncertainty with Initiative 2117. We do have plans to build a downtown and West Pasco Transit Center in 2026. So future outlook, what does BFT aim to do? Expand geographically as the Tri-Cities, Prosser and Benton City grow, enhance amenities. That means make bus stops more accessible, more visible, and amenities that provide a better experience for the customers. Utilize technology for efficiency. We've already dived deep into some scheduling software and are making sure that our staff has the technical prowess to use that software so that we can approach the bus scheduling process, transit planning process, I should say, from a more technical standpoint. So, and again, like always, we're looking to improve experience for current riders and to attract more choice riders. So something we look to do here in the future is also implement express routes, which would reduce travel time for those riding our buses, and then commuter routes that serve our area's large employers. So something else we're also planning to roll out is mobile ticketing here, hopefully in the beginning of 2025, if not sooner. So currently we accept cash and people can buy passes at outlets, but we have no mobile option. We will have a mobile option for ticketing and here in the next year, and we hope that makes riding our services, using our services a little bit easier for folks. So next slide, please. So projects of regional significance, I've mentioned Queensgate, so that just opened. That was funded through WSDOT's Regional Mobility Grant, the West Pasco Transit Center, which we're currently looking for land. Downtown Pasco, which we've gone through a concept design phase. I can say we're actually working with WSDOT to potentially move those funds to a renovation of our 22nd Avenue Transit Center. In that case, we actually wouldn't build a downtown Pasco hub, but we'll keep everyone updated on that. And then some other updates, we'll continue to address our bus stops, making them nicer, more accessible. We are finally addressing security in that we will be adding security cameras to our transit centers. Queensgate was the first that we added them, and then we'll retrofit our existing transit centers in the future. And then also I mentioned Initiative 2117, which may repeal the Climate Commitment Act. But through that Climate Commitment Act, we have received funds for a Benton City, Prosser, and Southridge park and ride facilities. So basically a scaled down transit center or a scaled up bus stop where multiple routes can meet and there's some parking for a park and ride function. So Most of these are local or state funding, so it isn't necessarily rolled into the tip, but I think they are regionally significant. So I wanted to touch on them. And with that, I can take any questions or wait till the end to answer any questions.
No questions. I did see that Brian joined from Benton County. Are you there, Brian?
I am. Thank you for sending the link. I was working on other stuff. But I'm logged in now. So I apologize if my audio was interfering as I logged in there.
All good. No, you're totally fine. We skipped you because I figured you'd find the link eventually. So if you want to get started on your jurisdiction.
Oh, I wasn't really planning on doing a presentation. I wasn't even sure I was attending, but I'm happy to do so. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm not going to read the slide to you folks. We've prepared our tip consistent with the requirements, submitted it to the MPO and adopted it already at this point. If there's any questions with the tip, we've got it available on our site, and we're certainly, I field any questions if any of the people present have questions, be happy to answer any. You guys know why tips are developed based on the priority rate and bridge program, preserving rail right-of-ways and all that good stuff. These are some of our projects kind of categorized into safety, annual programs, and active projects, as well as our regular routine maintenance and capacity improvement projects on the left. You'll see that I've kind of got them shaded or bolded to indicate whether they are funded or not. You can kind of see at the top how I've kind of tried to distinguish them from one another. If you have questions, you'll see that we have some projects that are common with some of the other agencies. We're anxious to get working on some others, but it's a coordinating thing. So go ahead, next slide. Some of the typical sources that we've been chasing, similar to probably some of the others in the room, but the counties are in some instances a little bit different. So just a little bit of information for anybody that might be in attendance. Go ahead, Tanner. And that's just our tip in a nice, easy table, easy to see. Your expenditure schedule's out there to the right, and then the project shown listed from 1 to, I think, 34. Active projects in green, and safety projects kind of in that pinkish orange salmon. We don't have a lot of new projects. These are projects we've been working on for some time. We've been playing catch up to get some of the projects that were in our queue done. So that's what we've been focused on. That might be my last slide. Oh, your transportation priorities, I should say, transportation priorities for the region. I'd put them in there because he gave me 5 slides. And so I highlighted a couple of them that we're involved with. Obviously, the Isla Muta Vista primarily the cities of Richland and Kennewick, but we've got, I think, maybe a small piece. I do appreciate your guys' support when we went through that process. I don't have really anything more to add with regard to our tip. If people have questions, please direct them my way. I don't see a lot of people in the room that I don't recognize, but if any of the agencies have questions, let me know or ask me now. That's it for me, Tanner.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. Then we're going to jump up to Kennewick.
Hey, thanks, Tanner. So this is our 6-year tip that we took it to actually City Council on June 4th. So this is the, second public hearing for it. So the initial one was at City Council where they meet at 6:30 every other Tuesday night in council chambers. It was presented to the public at that time. We do have 43 projects listed out there for this 2025 to 2030 round. We have 31 motorized transportation projects and 12 non-motorized. And we do have an associated table with this, but if I put it on there, it'd be just a myriad of numbers and letters. So you can get on our website and take a look at that. We've got it all under the streets tab on the city council website. So I thought that I would just highlight some of the new projects that we added for this year's go around. So Tanner, you want to go to the next slide? So this is one of the projects that we added. This is the Bob Olson and 25th Avenue intersection improvement project. This one is developer driven. We'll have traffic mitigation dollars in there. We will be designing this in-house, and this will be on the slide for next year. We'll be putting in a three-way signal there at Bob Olson, and probably start design at the beginning of the year, and probably won't go out to ad until probably 2026 on that one. So next slide. This is another signal at the intersection of Clodfelter and Ridgeline. We've got Desert Hills Middle School at the northwest or northeast corner of it. This is, again, developer driven. We've got a major development on the, I don't remember the name of the developer on there, but they'll be paying for most of the signals. Signal will be designed and put out to ad in-house as well. It will, right now it's a three-way intersection, but it will turn into a four-way intersection for this. And this one, again, will probably be in design next year and then go out to construction in 2026. So next slide. So these are some carryover projects from the last go around. I just wanted to sort of highlight these because they're fairly big projects in our 6-year TIP. So this is our Columbia Center Boulevard widening project. We did get $670,000 for design and 2.3 million in right of way. We've got 85 or 86% of that as federal funding for those two phases. We do not have construction funded yet, but this will be for the design of a third lane for both northbound and southbound from Columbia Center Boulevard from Deschutes heading north to Quinault, and we call this sort of a couplet, or actually a choke point here. That's why we've been advertising it, because we've improved Deschutes. We've got both federal and state TID money. We just got done with that. I think last month we had a ribbon cutting ceremony out there. And council governments, you guys attended that. We've been cutting. We had free pizza there too for you guys, so that was exciting today. And then the other end of the project is Quinault and CCB. And so we've got that one fully federal funding. We just got construction authorization this week. So yeah. So the next project.
I thought that might have been the next slide,
Yeah.
the second
Now,
project.
yeah, for Quinault, we're gonna be going out to ad here this, probably the end of this month or next month, and then there'll be a delayed construction. We're excited to see that thing going. You'll see construction full swing next year. Next project I wanted to talk about is our Island View to Vista Field active transportation project. So this is in our non-motorized list of projects, and we actually have 2.1 million from the Climate Commitment Act, somewhat earmarked for this project. So this entails a pathway for bike and ped use, which will connect from Center Parkway heading east to Columbia Center Boulevard, where we would have this proposed bridge cross over it and then tie into the local streets and travel down Umatilla and cross over at Kellogg. This is intended to tie in the South Richland Island View area to the Port Canox Vista development. We do, as an overall project for this Island View area, we are partnering with the city of Richland for their component of a bridge crossing SR 240. And that's a fairly large project, which we're trying to get some federal money through the federal DOT on that. So a lot of components moving in on this project, but yeah, I think this is the last project that I have on the list. Any questions out there? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So fingers crossed that this works for Pasco and Maria. She could not attend this, but she made a recording of her presentation. So hopefully the sound works good, but let me know if you guys can't hear it or anything, please. Can you not hear it or?
Negative on my end, Tanner.
Okay. Let's see, I will have to mute the owl and then.
You have to share your screen with sound.
Okay.
Got the ums and uhs.
Have the opportunity. Good afternoon. I am Maria Serra, Public Works Director for the City of Pasco. I am glad to have the opportunity to highlight a few key projects we've been working on that will have a significant impact on both safety and connectivity in Pasco. Starting with the Sylvester Street Overpass Pet Bike Access Project. This is a non-motorized bridge that will be built over US 395 and complete the pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure along the corridor. The total cost is about $3.8 million, mostly grant funded through Pet Bike Program and Sandy Williams Grant Program. The design is about to begin with construction planned in 2027. This project is exciting and long awaited. Once it's completed, it will provide a safer and much needed connection for pedestrians and cyclists across the highway,
Oops.
making the area more accessible and safer for everyone. Next is the Pavement Preservation Project. These two projects are part of an ongoing effort to keep our roads in good condition. Overlays are planned along Ainsworth Avenue and segments of Lewis Street. Both projects are funded through a federal grant with construction anticipated in 2026. Our third slide focuses on the Safe Route to School project. This one is particularly important with focus on making sure kids have safe, reliable routes to walk or bike to school. We are improving sidewalks, adding crosswalks, and enhancing lighting and signage to make sure children can get to and from school safely. In coordination with the Pasco School District, we have prioritized improvements at Argent Road and Road 88, as well as Santa Fe Road and Road 90, serving the students at McLaughlin Middle School and Ray Reynolds Middle School, Columbia River Elementary, and others. These improvements are funded through a state program. The Road 76 overpass is a big project in our list and certainly a priority. This overpass is going to reduce congestion, improve traffic flow, and enhance safety for everyone, creating a local connection over I-182 and alleviating pressure in the Road 68 interchange. This project has secured funds that are local, and we are currently pursuing grants to help fund the remainder of the project. Finally, we've been working on several safety plans and studies We perform studies to identify areas of concern and define measures and improvements to be implemented to address those concerns effectively. The Comprehensive Safety Action Plan and the Citywide Injury Minimization and Speed Management Study will help guide future projects and prioritize improvements where they're needed most. It's all about ensuring that our decisions are data-driven and focused on long-term safety and resiliency in our transportation network. While this is a non-exhaustive list of projects for PASCO Transportation Improvement Plan, it provides an overview of the variety of projects the city is working on. We're making progress every day towards improving the quality of life in our community, and I'm excited to see the impact these projects will have in the coming years. Thank you for your time.
All righty. With that, we'll just, I guess if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Maria. And we'll just move forward with the Port of Benton.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian, the construction project manager for the Port of Benton. And on behalf of the Port of Benton commissioners and the staff, I'm happy to share with you guys today the Port's 2025 through 2023 or 2030, transportation improvement plan. The Port is listing 14 projects on this year's tip, with the most important projects revolving around the reconstruction of the port-owned short line rail system that is in desperate need of repair. The 9 miles of track is owned by the Port, stretching from Columbia Center Boulevard in Kennewick to Horn Rapids Road in North Richland, and it was constructed by the Department of Defense in early 1950, making this track 74 years old and in desperate need of updating. The rail line serves the Horn Rapids Industrial Park, including several industrial, manufacturing, and agricultural processing facilities, and this affects over 3,000 jobs in the area and ships more than 1.3 million tons of freight each year, making this rail line the second largest short line rail system in Washington state. The Port's intent is to improve the conditions to meet the current and future demands of its customers. And this rail line currently eliminates over 74,000 long haul trucks from the roadways, and the volume continues to grow annually. The goal for the Port is to ensure that the rail line is ready for future growth with minimal impact to the surrounding communities and traffic flow. The most important improvement project for the Port is installing between 9,000 and 12,000 railroad ties over the length of the track system, and installing 4 miles of new rail, which would increase train speeds to 25 miles an hour. It currently operates at 5. These improvements would decrease the traffic wait times at major rail crossings from 19 minutes down to 4 minutes. The design and funding of this project is underway, and the Port is estimating starting the project in phases in the beginning of 2025. Currently, the at-rail grade crossings at Airport Way and St. Streets have been awarded, and they are scheduled to be completed in October of 2024. In addition to those, the SR 240 at-grade rail crossing is currently out for bid and is scheduled to be completed in the spring of 2025. These projects affect everyone who lives in the Tri-City area and a majority of the employees out at the Hanford site. Go ahead, next slide, Tanner. Another major priority for the Port is the improvements to the barge facility that the Port owns off of Horn Rapids Road in North Richland. While this is not a common occurrence, the demand is rising for barge shipments in the area, as well as an increase in tour boat traffic to the North Richland area as well, making this currently owned barge facility a vital link for the growing economy. We are currently in the planning stage for this project, and we'll share more of these details in 2025 as this project progresses. Go ahead to the next slide. Once these projects are completed, the remaining projects on our list, the Horn Rapids Road Extension, First Street Road Improvement, the Waterfront Drive Extension, will all fall into place and complement the main projects discussed above. We also have plans for reconstruction of Bennett Road and Lee roads in Prosser to complement our partners and improve the public access to the businesses in the Prosser area. We've included a map in the last 2 slides of this presentation to show where these projects are located. If you have any concerns or comments, please access our website at portofbenton.com. And if anyone has any questions, I'd take those at this time. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Brian. Next up is the Port of Pasco. Any representatives from the port? I don't believe so. Okay, I don't know much.
The public would be. Because then public would.
Hey, Kevin, there you go.
Yeah. Alrighty, yeah, so the Port of Pasco has the Redmond Industrial Center rail projects included in the TIP. I'll just go through these. It's all pretty much out there in front of you. The phase 1 looks like the cost estimate is 6.6 million. The funding sources is all there. The map, I guess if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Stephen McFadden or Randy Hayden. And then this is their second project. Pretty much the same overview, which is phase 2. And then I think that is it for Port of Pasco and Marty Groom with Prosser.
Hey, thanks, Tanner. I did provide our 6-year tip, but we had one that was adopted in June of this year. Included 14 motorized projects, 1 non-motorized project. The 1 non-motorized is ADA ramp and improvements citywide. I believe it was a total of 46 ramps for replacement. 2 of the projects that were on a tip is Alexander Court, which seems to be a reoccurring one. I've discussed this several times. It's a minor collector, serves both Prosser High School and Housel Middle School. It's what it does for this is walkability. There's gaps in the sidewalks, which improves safety for both motorized and non-motorized users. You see the funding on the left, which has been updated. There was an error in my last one. So we have the 204,309 of secured, 937, almost 938,000 of local, total project 1.1 million. We have a couple of pending applications, Safe Route to Schools and TIB. Next slide just shows the location, also showing where the gaps in the sidewalks are the red. You see the one entrance to the new high school is to the southwest, and then the Housel Middle School up there by Highland Drive in Alexander. Next slide. This is just a photo. The new sidewalk you see on the southwest there was the half street improvement that the Prosser High School had to complete. Looking south, you'll see there's no sidewalk on the west side, southwest side, and there's a lot of students that use this route. So this is a viable project, our #1 project on our 6-year transportation. That's that project.
And the second project, I will pull up really quick. I just realized that I did not put it in the
Okay. It was a project that was added. So the Lower Valley Pathway connection to Wine Country Road. It's just added in January of this year, but it's now completed. We got right on it and got it completed.
One second.
Yeah, here you go. What this is completes a gap between the Lower Valley Pathway, which is on the south, and Wine Country Road. Right there is the exit 80 off-ramp intersection of Merlot, Wine Country, and Gap Road. And what this does, there's a lot of development going on there on the south. There's a Holiday Inn Express that you see in the photo. Just to the northwest of there is the Love's Truck Stop. Right next to it is a pending preliminary plat for multifamily homes. This will allow people walkability to get over to the North Prosser Business District. This project was funded by TIB. You see on the total project was about $85,000. We did a slight modification at the crosswalk there by the signal. We have a huge interest. A lot of people are using this. Safety for pedestrian and bicyclists. We had a lot of compliments on this. And then just to, as you're coming into town, just to the south of the new connection, we have a new Prosser entrance sign. So these projects were done kind of simultaneously so we could have them both operational. Next slide. So all this is a couple of finished photos. It's kind of unique. The vacant parcel there is basically city right away, and it was an arrestor bed. So basically a truck runaway ramp. We had some fatalities way back in. I actually designed that arrestor bed when I was working for Benton County back in 1993. So this was a nice small improvement, and gotten a lot of compliments on it. So any other questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right, next up is the city of Richland.
Hello, Carlo D'Alessandro, Public Works Director for the City of Richland. You can go to the next slide there, Tanner. So this year's or the 2025 TIP has 43 projects on it for the city, a mix of transportation, active transportation, developer, executed projects and city executed projects for meeting capacity demands in the city. We have a bunch of funded projects here. Downtown connectivity improvements is fully funded now. So we're planning on moving ahead with that in 2025. It'll likely be a 2-year construction schedule for that. SR 240 pedestrian crossing, that's the one that Kennewick also talked about. That's Island View to Vista Field trail project. This is the ped bike bridge over the SR 240. It's partially funded. Center Parkway South Extension is a fully funded project. It's been off the tip for a while because we thought we'd be able to execute it every single year, but we've had some issues with dealing with some land transactions with BPA, so it's back on the list. And Central Richland Active Transportation Improvements. This is a partially funded project through the Active Transportation Assistance Program with the USDOT or Washington DOT. You can go to the next slide. So this is just showing kind of so this is George Washington Way looking north, use of space. It's currently a 5-lane road, and this sort of changes the road to a 1-way plus bike facilities on the east side, and some stormwater facilities and parking and wider sidewalk throughout, and safer crossings. So lots of good improvements there. Just wanted to show that sort of thing so people can sort of picture what we're planning. Go next slide. So unfunded priorities, some big ones. SR 240 Aaron Interchange, that's a regionally significant project. It's on our regional priorities. It's a SR 240 flyover, a roundabout, active transportation connection to the Chamna Trail. And then a bunch of active transportation and safety related projects for 5, 6, and 7 there that we have plans for that are waiting for grant funds to be decided on. And Gage Boulevard improvements also been on there for a very long time, still waiting for some grant funds to become available for that. And Dupertail Kennedy intersection, Queensgate Dupertail intersection improvements. Those are projects that will likely be happening next year, funded through our transportation impact fee program. It currently says unfunded because it's not fully funded yet, but will, as development occurs at the DNR site west of sort of like Truman and north of Kennedy, those two projects will become very relevant very soon. So you can go to the next. So a lot of different changes, a bunch of new projects added, mostly related to safety or pedestrian safety related stuff. And a bunch of removed projects from previous years because we are actually getting projects completed and funded and moving along that list. So you can see all those differences from the previous year right there. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Carlo. And 1 second, bear with me here. All right.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Tanner. Roscoe Slade, Public Works Director for the City of West Richland. Going over, I think we have 20 projects on our 25-2030 tip. I'm just going to focus on 2 projects that have secured funding that will be going to construction in 2025. So the first one's our Keene Road Phase 4 pathway. This was funded through a TAP grant, federal TAP grant. Basically, between Belmont and SR 224, there's a gap in that regional pathway. So if you go to the east, you tie into Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco's, that regional trail system. This connects to the pathway system on the west side of Van Giesen with new neighborhoods there. And will also tie into the regional pathway with the SR 224 Red Mountain Transportation Improvement Project that will go all the way out to the Red Mountain AVA on Antonori Road, and then all the way to the northwest, the older part of town, next to 62nd and Gross Cup. Again, the funding is a federal TAP grant, city match, local match. That's currently at DOT for obligation. Expect to go out to bid later this year and construction in 2025. The second project is the SR 224 Red Mountain Vicinity Improvement Project. This is a WSDOT 2015 Connecting Washington project that the City of West Richland executed agreement with DOT in 2022 to take over the project from the design, the right-of-way, environmental, and construction. This is a almost $34 million project. Connecting Washington funds. There's also some state motor vehicle funds in there, and then funding from our partners at Benton County also in there.
You're welcome.
Always appreciate it. So it's a 3-mile corridor that's highlighted red, 5 roundabouts, And then the yellow dashed is the extension of the multi-purpose pathway that goes out into the county, out to Antinori and out to the Red Mountain AVA master plan. Currently, I'm going to say the construction that's happened last year was all the water and sewer improvements were completed on the corridor, so that we're not cutting this pavement in the future. So 1.8 million, the majority of that was, again, from Benton County. Our rural county capital funds was used to extend that out. A lot of commercial and industrial land in that corridor. And currently 90% designed, and right away is 2/3 done. So we're down to the last few parcels to secure and on schedule to put this out to construction in June of 2025. It has a just short of a 2-year construction window in that. So that's what I had for West Richland. Thanks, Tanner.
Thank you, Roscoe. Any questions for Roscoe in West Richland? All right, last but not least, we have WSDOT.
It's like a boss.
Sorry about that. I kicked my shredder with my foot, and I don't know if you heard all that racket, but sorry about that.
It sounded like fanfare.
Fanfare? Oh yeah.
Like applause.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Phil Nugent, WSDOT South Central Region Planning Manager. Well, my presentation is going to be even shorter than I expected, thanks to Roscoe, in which he had a much more better description, more complete description than I did of the Red Mountain, but we'll get there. Worked over the last couple of days trying to clear up some confusion about our tip with our tip submittal with our program management office. So the original tip submittal back in June included 11 projects, but in the meantime, 4 of those projects have already obligated construction funds and are moving forward. And 5 are likely delayed beyond 2028 due to limited funds and reprioritization of projects. There's 1 tip record in there for chip seal and or asphalt pavement projects, various locations within Benton and Franklin counties. But as mentioned previously, funding, limited funds causes prioritization or reprioritization of projects, and that's ongoing. So we will use the tip amendment process moving forward to add or revise or make any changes necessary. So next slide there, Tanner, which I won't have to go into much detail on. So the only 2 projects remain after taking out the 9, 4 for previous obligation and 5 that are being delayed. So it leaves the chip seal and asphalt possible projects, and then the SR24 Red Mountain vicinity improvements, which I don't have to say much about because Roscoe did such a good job of explaining, and that West Richland is under agreement with DOT and performing much of that lift for us. So appreciate that. And yeah, so I didn't have a whole lot to say other than PE and right away underway, and plans to obligate construction funds in spring of 2025. So next slide.
I think that concludes.
That's it. So questions, if anyone has any. Obviously, I didn't have a whole lot to share there. So, all right. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the presentations. So to download the recording, we're gonna have to end the open house, but we will rejoin if anybody wants to jump back in. The second hour will just be replaying the videos for anybody who might have missed it or would like to rewatch. I'll leave a few minutes open to give you the opportunity for discussion. But if then we'll end the meeting and then restart it right back up once the recording downloads.
So Tanner, this is Brian from Benton County. I just wanted to mention to the other participating agencies, specifically West Richland DOT, and I don't see Benton City in the room, but certainly MPO can coordinate or help coordinate with us. We obviously have interest in extending that active transportation path that involves 224 to the west. Anxious to see where Benton City might determine, or DOT in conjunction with DOT might determine a suitable crossing. And once that's done, we're anxious to coordinate with extending that pathway to connect to the community of Benton City. So that's an important thing for us, whether that be along 224 or some alignment to the south or up through the AVA and some other option. So I just want to underscore that. Thank you for putting it together. It's nice seeing everybody.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Tanner, did you get slides from Franklin County or Franklin County?
Not sure if I did. Let me check.
Having been in an agency that missed the deadline in the past, I sure hope that you reach out to them.
Definitely, I did get them, and I apologize. I will share the screen. That's my bad. Sorry about that.
Well, that's all right.
All right. We'll go now to Franklin County.
All right, thank you, Tanner. This is John Christensen, Franklin County Public Works. Franklin County has 12 funded projects that are scheduled for construction in the next few years. This first slide is for our bridge replacement projects. We have 3 of them. Hollingsworth, Vineyard East, and Glenwood, and the amounts are shown up there on the slide. Next slide, please. Franklin County is committed to investing in our farm-to-market roads with a focus on creating and maintaining our all-weather routes. Utilizing the block grant and RAP funds, the county has 4 projects planned. The last mile of Glade North, adjacent to Basin City, and North Railroad, adjacent to the Port of Pasco's Raymond Industrial Park. There will be an overlay and widening project on Taylor Flats Road. And next year, we will be milling and paving Glade North Road, located east of the airport and next to Lamb Weston. And the amounts are shown up there on the slide. Next slide, please. Franklin County has taken advantage of the safety grants. Currently, Franklin County has 4 projects funded with HSIP. These include 2 projects for installation or replacement of guardrail in multiple different locations, the addition of new illumination along the Glade North corridor, slope flattening along Taylor Flats, and the installation of culverts and irrigation ditches throughout the county. And finally, RAP funds are being utilized to add turn lanes and address a sight distance issue at the intersection of North Railroad and Vineyard West Drive. And again, the amounts are shown up there on the slide. That's it for Franklin County.
All right, thank you very much, and I apologize for missing that.
You're good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any comments or questions before we end and then rejoin? If none, then I appreciate everybody attending. That's not going to stay for the second hour, but anybody who might want to is more than welcome. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, Tanner. Thanks, everyone.